Hi, and welcome to the final match of the Night Watch 2017 Store Championship. This match was held in July 2017, right before the Wave 11 release. This match is the final match of a 25-person, 4-round Swiss cut-to-4 tournament. This match brings in Gene Hogel from Austin and against Mason from College Station. Gene begins the match on the right-hand side of the screen, and Mason's going to be on the left-hand side of the screen there. Gene's placed his 512 calling card on the table. That's his podcast up there in Austin. It's an X-Wing podcast where they talk about just everything X-Wing in regards to the game. Pretty good podcast if you guys haven't checked it out yet. For you X-Wing junkies like me who just constantly want to hear about the game and concepts and builds and what's winning, what's not winning, things like that. Those are kind of things they cover. His list today is very similar to the World's fourth place finisher. I think a guy from Houston ran it into fourth place. It has the arc that allows you to remove your stress by rolling a dice after you move. He's using it as a stress hog with gunner, essentially the R2 unit that puts stress on if you fire at someone with an arc. And he's trying to miss a lot so that he can double stress somebody and lock them down for a turn or two. He's running Jess Pava. That's the T-70 that was released in the one of the latest Tears of the Resistance expansions. It's a pilot score 3 pilot that I believe he has adaptability on it though, bringing it up to a 4. And that's the one that can reroll offensive and defensive dice, 1 per friendly ship around her, so that in this case he can reroll. If he was to shoot right now, he could reroll 3 dice and 2 defensive dice. He has Rex. That's the TIE fighter that can put suppression on you, so that he can kind of control your damage output. And of course, in the back, he has Biggs there to try to give his other pilots a couple rounds before they're the targets of attack. Mason, and I talked about this one in the last video. He has a pretty interesting build. This is the new Chewbacca and 3 Z95s. Now, like I said in the last video, there's a lot of things that bring synergy to this list. One, it's 5 ships, and that's always really good. But also, Chewbacca has C-3PO making him defensive. He also has expertise, so that he doesn't have to rely on the focus for offense. So he's going to be using his focus for defense. And he also has operational specialist, and that's going to come into play. We'll have to kind of see how that plays in at this round. But the round that I played him in the match previous to this. Essentially, he's just going to target lock with those Z95s. If one of them misses, because it's 2 dice, the operational specialist put a focus on another one, and so you're just it's this regiment of target lock and focused, essentially down the line until you're done shooting, and that could be 5 shots. So very effective offensively. It looks like Gene is attempting to drag Mason through the debris field. They're both flying debris here, so that's going to benefit. It's going to be tough on Mason if he gets his expertise stressed, but he's still going to be allowed to shoot no matter what. And Gene, with trying to constantly keep everything stressed out, especially with the stress hog, that can put a lot of control onto somebody who's trying to turn around or whatever it might be. If they go to a debris field, they're stressed out, having to force them into some bad movements or whatever it might be. So Chewbacca's at a 5, so Gene will move. I'm not sure if he has initiative here. I guess we'll find out here. He'll move at least his top 3 ships before Chewbacca will move. Opting to come in quickly. 3 banking into combat. It benefits. Now this is going to be a slog, I guess you could say. There, 5 ships on one side, 4 ships on the other side. There's 9 ships on the board in the store championship. So, and it looks like Gene has initiative, so his pilot score 5 will move and shoot before Chewbacca will. And Chewbacca coming one straight, slow, preparing for the next move. I can honestly tell you when ships get, I've personally reduced the amount of ships that I play down to about 2. It makes it faster for me, a little less thought. I less worry about formation. I just worry about the mechanics for the 2 ships. And on average, I think players are playing around 3 ships. So I played this 5-ship build before this, and I thought I could have done pretty well with it, but I don't know what in the world I would do if I was flying 4 ships at 5 ships, especially with such a cluttered debris field. It's going to be interesting to see what they do here. Mason's bringing in the Z95s. He is going to bank. It should put him within range 1 of a couple, depending on what Eugene did with his. So he's going to target lock there. So I don't know if he could have target locked Biggs here, but that would have been a better. Well, it depends, I guess. If he knew he wasn't going to be able to shoot Biggs or target lock him, then it probably wouldn't have mattered where those target locks went. But because he doesn't have any munitions, so he's going to have to shoot Biggs first if he has him in range. And this is pretty typical from what I've seen. When I was watching the tournament, people were going after that Stress Hawk first because it's actually pretty difficult. It's either decide if someone's going to control your actions and movements, or if they're going to control your firepower with Rex. So there's a lot of control on this list, which it's interesting. I don't like running such low pilot abilities, but it's obviously effective. And I also believe that flying 4 ships in almost any capacity gives you more ships, the better. And I know a lot of people are like, well, like Mason, you have to run the Z95s. A lot of people aren't very happy with that choice. They're kind of vanilla, but in the right setups, and especially with enough of them shooting at you, they do a lot of damage. Mason came into this undefeated, so and he played a whole list of decent players, so kind of speaks to the strength of low pilot scores with just the numbers firing back at you, as long as your dice are rolling well. So let's see what Gene does here. All those target locks are on Braylon, the ARC 170. Gonna move Braylon first, I believe. It looks like a 3 straight, coming in strong. That is going to set him at range 1. However, that's going to benefit Gene here because I bet if Biggs comes in at a 1 or 2 straight, those Z95s are going to have to shoot Biggs, and so there's going to be a range 1 target sitting right there without worrying too much about taking damage. Here comes Jess. Can't tell if that's a 2 or 3 there. And Jess is going to be in the same boat. Now, I'm sure Gene is not going to make the same mistake I did. I shot the Z95s. Don't shoot the Z95s in this list. That's like just like the don't shoot Dengar in range 1 in ARC. So there's an interesting move here. It looks like he's positioning for the next turn. He's gonna look like a 2 bank in and barrel roll out, giving himself some options on the next turn. And see what he does with Biggs here. This is like a 2 or 3 straight. Because whatever he does, he's going to want Chewbacca to have to shoot at Biggs also. Gene has the astromech that allows you to cancel hits and accept stress tokens instead. Down to 1 or 2 hits. I can't remember what the how that reads, but it essentially gives him a little bit more defense. A very cost-effective card too. I believe that astromech might be 1 point. So, all right. So Biggs gonna fire first. Let's see who he goes after. And he looks like he has Chewbacca at range 3. And I guess, right now this wouldn't be a bad time to give Chewbacca a rebound shot because he doesn't have anything relatively close. And everything's going to have to shoot at Biggs anyway, so as long as he has him range, we'll see where he goes here. This is a long day, so I watched this match and you could tell. And now Gene played another. Let's see. I wonder why. I wonder why Gene didn't shoot first there. If he's moving Biggs first, he should be moving. Contemplating spending the focus. That was a shot from Chewbacca, and so he misses there, and so now you see operational specialist kick in, and the front Z95 is going to get a focus token. Yeah, see Biggs. So I guess, well, we'll just see how it plays out here, but as I was saying, Gene and the Austin guys played this tournament and then turned around the next week and played a bigger tournament right after this. So they are definitely on a marathon of X-Wing playing. 3 dice shot from Biggs into Chewbacca, I believe. Can't tell the results, but it looks like all 3 of them have faces on them. Spend a focus. Looks like he's going to take 1. Alright, we should start seeing some other shots coming in here. Let's see if... looks like Rex is going to take a shot here. Range 3, 2 dice. Let's see. Oh, maybe that's not from Rex. That is... Must be from Jess. Yep, that's Jess there. Hit 3 hits. Looks like you're going to take a couple more shields there. Now he's going to take the shot from... Let's see if he's going to check to see if he even has a shot with Rex. This is a very obnoxious thing about Rex, is that even if he misses, that reducing that shot is painful for whoever he's shooting at. I think he's going after a Z95. It must not have Chewbacca in range. There's a shot from Rex. Looks like maybe 1 coming in. Looks like a miss on Gene's part there, but he achieved the goal of suppression, so not a complete loss. Braylon's going to stress Chewie here. Now Gene's put a pretty good beating on Chewbacca early, which is good for him. As long as he can keep him in arc the next round, that's gonna benefit him for this match. That's what you want to do. You want to put Chewbacca on the defensive, and you want to try to take him out by round 3. Round 2 is a little optimistic, but one thing I noticed Gene doing when he was playing, he's going to have 3 hits here on the table. Let's see if he goes into it. It's the rest of his shields. Yep. So one thing I noticed Gene was doing is that, and I know why he opted not to do it here, so I'll talk through that a little bit. So he has Gunner, and so the card allows you to shoot 3 out the front if you want. I think it's a May. And in order for him to get that Gunner to trigger, a lot of times he would only roll 2 dice. And how that benefits him is that then Gunner allows him to shoot again. And he doesn't even have to pick the same target. He can kind of go down the line and pick a different target if he wants to. Now in this case, with Chewbacca only having 1 green dice, it's probably best to try to get the majority of your damage out on a Chewie. Especially that's all of his shields. That's 5 damage in the first round of shooting. So that's going to leave Chewbacca with 8 hit points left. First shot from the Z. 1 dice. So someone missed, so now someone else gets a focus. It's going to be range 2 from the Z95 to Biggs. It's going to be 2 hit, or 1 hit. Looks like Biggs evaded. Running out of ships to give focuses to. It's going to be 1 hit. Yeah, it looks like he might have got a shield that time. And the last Z95 shooting. So 2 hits from the Z. That looks like a damage and something into hull there. Gene is using integrated astromech for the for Big, so he does have the ability to ditch a damage card. Entering into the next round. Next round of movement. Off go the Z's. Let's see where they go. Not a lot of ability to move around here. Probably going to just jam up the area, especially with the target locks already selected. So, and again, also, this is another benefit to operational specialists. You know, crash into whoever you want to. I took target locks last round. I didn't spend any of them, and if one of my guys misses, that passes off a focus. So, you see a lot of action economy after the fact, which is. If anyone's ever heard my argument, that's the way to win the game. Make sure you have actions on the table. Modified dice win, so. Mason's doing some banks in here. He's going to run into Braylon a couple times. Looks like that Z makes it. And he will cloak. Kidding. Play Guy comes up from Houston a lot. He plays Ray a lot, and after his first move, it's Ray out the gates, and he cloaks. Every time. Let's see what Gene's going to do here. Braylon's first on the board. Again, I apologize for the setup. I should have been smarter about my setup. This is the first time I've recorded in a while. I should have drew the mats in, and I should have moved the lighting a little bit so there wasn't so much of a glare, but we got them recorded. That's the important thing. Allow people to see some lists in action. The next things I do, I'm going to pay a little closer attention to where I'm setting up my camera. A whole lot of bumping going on there. I believe that's going to... Yeah, and see, okay. So now Mason's moving Chewbacca first. And I think that was just a mistake from last time. Mason has initiative, so Chewbacca will move and shoot first. Or it just didn't matter. I mean, when they were moving into combat, the 6th game of the day. Again, this was 6 games, and then I think Gene went and played 5, 6, 7 or 8 more this next Saturday. So if you want to know if he's speaking about it with any authority on the on his podcast, that should give you an idea of how much X-Wing he actually does play. Biggs. Looks like he's gonna run in the back of Braylon here. It's gonna be interesting to see if Biggs makes it out of this one alive. That's gonna be 4 range 1 shots and then a shot from Chewbacca. And a lot of Gene's shots are not gonna have a shot on Chewbacca. There's a shot from Chewbacca. Looks like 2 hits at Biggs. I run my Han Solo with expertise, and that's what I like about it, is if I roll 2 hits, I always re-roll, because it looks like 2 is going to go through. I think that might be a death shot. He's going to have to ditch Astromech. A little bit of confusion here we're watching. So how he would have drawn those might have changed, depending on how he would have ditched them. Now, integrated astromech allows him to ditch the damage, though. I guess let me be clear about that in case you might be newer and watching the match. Integrated astromech, whenever you would have received a damage card, you can choose to discard your astromech and the integrated astromech card to discard that damage card. That allows you to essentially select when you want to do that. And so, okay, so it looks like this one crit one might have gone through there. And so you can flip your cards and decide when it is you want it. You can't go back in time, but you can wait until you think you've received something that you want to get rid of. Looks like a miss there from Biggs. That's interesting. 3 dice against 1. That you'd really want to see damage coming out of Biggs onto Chewie there. Again, Chewie with 8 hit points. You want it down quickly. That's the bulk of his list. You do not want to give him the ability to shoot again with Chewie, especially with Biggs on the ropes. Looks like a shot there from Rex. Suppressing somebody. Now, I think the last round, one of those shots might not have come in suppressed. Again, this was late. I don't know if they're catching that. I think I remember too many dice being rolled occasionally, but suppression should be on somebody here. Now, Jess is going to fire here. Looks like he's picking his target, because he could one-shot a Z95, and that's not good, especially with the 3 Z95s about to shoot back at Wedge. He does not want to give Chewie one more shot at Wedge, so I'm going to be very careful. Let's see how many dice he rolls here. 4. That's a range 1. You could re-roll 3 of those dice. Unless you're choosing not to. 2 damage onto the Z95. That, believe it or not, that's not a bad thing for Gene. Again, if he would have killed that Z95, Chewie would have shot, had Biggs again, and then it would have been 3 Z95s shooting at. Let's see if he's going to do it here. He's going to shoot the same target. And you can't go 4 dice here. You can go 3. That's what he's contemplating. That is a big choice. I don't know that I'd probably try to shoot a different one if I could. Spread the damage out. Biggs is in a tough spot anyways, but you're essentially winding up with the same results, amount of ships shooting at you if you kill it. Because even though there's one off the board, you're going to give Chewie that shot. Alright, looks like he added the dice. He's going to contemplate spending the focus to stay alive here. I honestly say I don't know what I would do. Okay, he's going to spend the focus here. Take 1 damage. And here comes the barrage back at Biggs here. Three dice. Looks like 2 hits on the table. I did not do integrated. Maybe he did it before. That's the unfortunate thing about my camera location. And I had a regiment where I had them placing the information in front of the camera, but considering how late it was, I was not getting real stringent on how they were accomplishing that. You're talking over range here. Make sure everyone's shooting at the range they should be. Mason with the advantage now that Biggs is off the board. Though if Gene gets that arc in the right position, he's gonna make some obnoxious work of the. I know his dice are not rolling well for Mason right now, but those stress coming from Braylon are going to make life difficult. There's another focus, that operational specialist. And it's funny now that we've kind of seen it in action, and you never saw it anywhere, now you see it. So good on Mason for bringing something new into the limelight. And I think there's a place for it, and almost in a lot of lists. It shows it to be relevant. Now, of course, 2 hits from Mason here. Now, of course, Chewie off the board, and then you just have 4 Z95, so maybe not. But there's some possibilities out there that you can. It doesn't look like Gene's getting too happy with his rolls there. Major explosion here, and I do remember this when I was sitting over the shoulder. The IA comes into consideration here, and so it could have been, whenever. I think the right move would have been to ditch the major explosion, and sit out there with 2 hull left. So, and it's in regards to the order in which he would have received them or not received them. Receive the damage. So into the next round. The Z95s are going to go. Now Mason still has all 4 of them. Because again, you do not want them to be your primary target. Now, this last round, that's all Gene could have shot. But you want Chewie to be your target, and getting to Chewie is going to be a little bit difficult for Gene here because he's going to be dancing around that debris cloud. Looks like Mason just ran into himself there a bunch. And the cool thing about Gene's list here is he does have that rear arc. And so he stuck himself in a really good position there to be able to get off some shots without having to have those Z95 sit in front of him. It's going to be curious to see what Jess did here. Probably a 4K. I would not doubt it. Yeah, it looks like a 4K is coming up. Which would be a good move because he has pattern analyzer, so he can still take that focus token. And he still gets 1 reroll with Braylon sitting at range 1, so he's in a really good spot here. That is the benefit to the downfall, I guess, of Mason's list. Well, one, everything riding so heavily on Chewie, but those Z95s being a pilot scores 2 makes it tough because if they get themselves in a bad spot, then they're just hanging left to dry. Now, of course, and again, the way the list works is I'm going to do a 3-turn downwards here. If Gene takes any of those Z's off the board this round, he can. The Millennium Falcon's going to take some shots. So looks like he's going to try to position himself to still be able to take a couple shots at Chewie. Mason doing a 2-turn here. That's going to give him a nice range 1 shot at Rex, and and it looks like then the Z95s are going to have a lot of shots too. That would be my next target. I wouldn't want the suppressed shots coming in anymore. I think I would deal with the stress. Now, expertise is going to suffer a little bit, but that's okay. You can get rid of stress eventually. So it looks like Mason's rolling his dice first here. I don't know. That shouldn't be the case. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That is the case. I got this completely backwards. Chewie's shooting there, so 4 hits. Gene's rolling 3 dice with the TIE Fighter. And a couple faces there, maybe not. Doesn't look like Gene's too happy with that result. Yeah, look at there. There goes Rex. Perfectly healthy Rex off the board with 1 shot. That is the downfall of these TIE Fighters. It's very hard to find a good spot for them because at the end of the day, they are a nice filler for the Rebels, and Rex is a good add to this list, but when it comes time to take its beating, it's going to take its beating. Looks like Gene is contemplating Jess's shot. I think if you have the shot on Chewie, you have to take it, even range 3 through debris. You do not want to give Chewie another shot here. And this is the difficult thing, and I think this is the same issue that a lot of people run into is, man, who do I shoot? Like obviously in any other game, the Z95 would be the prime target, but yeah, he's gonna go after it. But in most games, you're like, okay, well that was his only shot. With Chewie taking one shot, that's the last one, but not in this case. He's gonna. Yeah, it looks like he took the Z off. Now he can take this. Now Chewie's gonna be able to take. He can take it at anybody, so he can take it at Braylon if he wants, which would probably be my next target. But of course, I don't fly these lists, so there's a reason I'm not on the top table. Chewie taking a shot. Looks like he's taking it at Jess here. 3 hits. Yep, that's going to hurt. I do believe Jess might only have 2 hit points left, so he's got to roll something. Looks like he lived through that shot. Forced him to spend the focus token. Not that it's going to give him any benefit right now. He's that's Mason's last shot, unless Gene decides to go after another Z. But I don't believe he's going to stick some stress tokens on Chewie. So. That's not a. You're going to control Chewie's movement here, and with the Z95s turned around like that, and Jess turned the way that she is, she has the ability to. Jess has the ability to do some damage here before. Here's that gunner. With the stress bot, it's a good way to get stress out there, especially having the front and the back arc. It makes a little bit better stress bot than the Y-wing. That's going to be another miss. You'd like to see damage out of the second roll, but the two stress tokens is going to slow Chewie down. This is Gene's chance to get back into the fight if he can. Expertise isn't going to trigger for Chewie for 2 more rounds, so it's going to take him a little bit to get rid of those stress tokens. Into the next round. The Z95s are more than likely going to do some 3Ks. Again, if one of them shoots and misses, then they have the target locks on. That's okay, because then the other ones will get the focus token from operational specialists as long as they're in range. I'm assuming Mason did this so that Chewie has a 1 bank coming in, maybe a 2 straight, so that he's closer to those targets for operational specialists to trigger, and also for Chewie's ability to trigger also. She's going to try to get rid of the stress with a roll here. It's a cool ability. I think I saw it work for him a couple times when I was watching his games. Jess more than likely did a 1 straight there. He ran into him. Now, it looks like Jess is still at range 1 of Braylon, so he's going to get the benefit of the re-roll. Jess, again, just being a really, really strong addition to any list. Got a lot of guys. I fly it with a couple different things, but I got some guys here in San Antonio fly a very similar list to what Gene's running, and definitely a very strong T70. The T70s in general are just very strong. A good addition to the Rebel sides. I was flying Poe today, and I don't know. I love that ship. 41 points. It's hard to justify the cost. However, you learn how to fly Poe with BB-8, and you got a very phenomenal ace. 41 point ace is a little debatable, but definitely a high 30s ace. It would be good if it was like around 36-ish, 38 points maybe. Maybe a little OP at that cost. Gene rolling 2 dice here. I re-roll 1. Nothing. Let's see what Gene takes here. He doesn't seem to be too happy with this roll. I believe Astromech's already happened. This one hit. He's going to have that Z95 to shoot next. Not sure who the target lock's on. Maybe Jess. 3 dice from Jess and the Chewy. One likely 3 hits. C-3PO coming in there, so it's obviously going to negate one of them. More stress from Braylon, range 3. This is tough because Chewy's in a bad spot right now. I'd have to say he probably has about 6 hit points left. It's whole from here on out, and so crits are gonna hurt. There's 1 crit there. He's gonna take it. Let's see. There's 1. There's the crit. So it looks like 4 damage cards sitting on Chewy back there. That's at least 4 hit points, and that's a 1 shot from Jess if Gene takes it. He has to hope for a bad roll out of Mason here. 1 hit. That could kill him. He's got to roll. He doesn't have any, so he has to roll and evade. So he's going to get a reroll here. Looks like he got it. Yeah. Oh, he's going to have one. I didn't realize he had another shot there. Oh, I think that's a dead Jess. I use sensor cluster on my Jess build, and it's kind of one of those things where it guarantees you at least 1 evade around. And my thinking on it is if 6-7 rounds in, Jess is still alive, then it is more than made its money's worth. So Jess has definitely been on the board for a while. Yeah, that looks like a dead Jess. And there she goes. So the rest of this game is chasing Braylon down. It's not hard to see that Mason has the advantage. Gene stuck it out there for the long run. He made him take the fight to him. But essentially, at the end of the day, Mason won this one. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was a 25 person tournament. We had a lot of locals, and we had, of course, a couple Austin guys come down, a couple of College Station guys come down. Good tournament, good turnout. It's a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys subscribe if you like the videos. I try to get them out as much as possible. I got a job and kids, so they come out when they can, but I do put them out when I can. Hope they're helpful for you guys. I'm gonna let this video ride, and then I should hopefully have some more out soon. See you guys next time.